Well, guys, if you haven't heard yet, yesterday Joe Biden and Kamala Harris signed another executive order to demonize gun owners and further attack the Second Amendment. The order does at least 5 things, and of course, they're all stupid. Number 1, it's a huge cash grab. Joe Biden's going to be shoveling $500 million into the hands of he and Kamala Harris's political allies in D.C., namely bogus research organizations, to review and study the impact and the causes of gun violence. Of course, these commissions will come back, as we all know, and they'll say, you're right, you have to ban AR-15s, national red flag laws, the whole 9 yards. It's a straight up reward with taxpayer money to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's political allies. That's number 1. Number 2, the order bans Glock switches. Now, of course, a Glock switch is functionally already illegal because when it's used on a handgun, it becomes a full auto machine pistol, and most of us can't own those. But of course, Joe Biden, as a supreme potentate of all the world, is going to stop violent crime with this order, or so he says. Hey, Joe, while you're at it, just ban cancer too. That would be great. Number 3, the order creates a new division at ATF to study emerging threats. Emerging threats. What a joke. The ATF, total scandal-ridden disaster. They're a threat to gun owners and puppies everywhere. That is who they are a threat to. To have them study gun owners is, of course, absurd. Number 4, it creates a new commission to study the impact and the danger posed by 3D printed firearms. Like every tyrant in the history of the world, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris hate the fact that we the people can print firearms on a 3D printer and they know nothing about it. This study will come back, of course, and say that 3D guns are dangerous. And if Kamala Harris wins in November, she will ban 3D firearms by an EO of her own in January. Make no mistake. Of course, these commissions will not study the emerging threats posed by the foreign invasion well underway in our country. They won't examine the dangers posed by gun-free zones, so-called, or deadly safe storage laws. But no, they will examine with taxpayer money how they can further use the power of the government to attack our gun rights. And number 5, and perhaps worst of all, this order from Joe Biden, functionally speaking, is going to be encouraging gun dealers to red flag young Americans. What do I mean by that? When Biden passed the Bipartisan Community Safers Act, heavy sarcasm intended, a couple of years ago, it raised the limits on waiting periods whenever someone sells a gun to an 18 to 20-year-old American. So right now they have 10 days, 14 calendar days to do a deep dive on a younger person's juvenile records, looking for mental health issues, examining sealed court documents. It's bad stuff. What this order does is says, hey, while you're doing that, be sure you examine the individual. And if he or she seems distressed, you should then work with local law enforcement if they have red flag laws on the books to try to red flag them at the point of sale. It's devious stuff, because if you're a gun dealer and you don't do it and something tragic happens years later with that firearm, the ATF will come back after your company, your gun shop, trying to shut you down. It is trying to weaponize gun dealers against their own customers. Guys, it's terrible stuff, which is, of course, what we expect from this president. We'll see. Much of what Biden has done so far through orders has been undone in the courts. We'll see. Maybe this one also goes to federal court.